There you go.
Perfect. All right, we'll call this meeting to order at 6 p.m. with a flag salute, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is it that way?
Right.
It's so weird.
Are there any amendments to the agenda this evening from anyone?
Just what's been brought up already.
Okay.
So move 5I.
Okay. Is that all right with you? Okay, so we'll move our shift up. And then can I also add that before we go to the consent agenda that Laura swear me in?
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Any comments or anything else? All right, hearing none, we'll go ahead and approve the agenda and Laura, do that process. Next,
I state your name,
Christine Pollock,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and the laws of the state of Oregon,
Constitution and laws of the state of Oregon,
and the policies of Alsea School District.
and the policies of the Alsea School District.
During my term, I will faithfully and impartially
During my term, I will faithfully and impartially
discharge the responsibilities of the office to the best of my ability.
discharge, or what was that?
Discharge
Discharge
the
the
responsibilities
To the office, to the best of my ability.
Sworn.
Thank you. So lots of good words in one time, Laura.
Sorry.
I know, but I feel like I had it in front of me then.
You got me.
All right. Consent agenda, is there a motion to consider under that?
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
There's a motion, is there a second?
No second.
All right, any discussion on? Or roll call vote?
That's right.
Jamie,
Yes.
Russ,
Yes.
Soren,
Yes.
George,
Yes.
Christine,
Yes.
motion carries 5-0.
All right, no patron comments as of about a half an hour ago. Any patron comments this evening?
Oh, no.
All right. Well, then let's move directly into our reports. Ms. Knudsen, well, you're first with our superintendent report.
All right, well, thank you. It's great to be here with all of you. Try that again. Good evening. It's great to be here with all of you. Just a few updates in my first few weeks here. So some facilities updates on the seismic grant. The project is progressing nicely. Incredible upgrades to our building. However, we are slightly behind schedule from the original projection. So that will require a delayed start for the 25-26 school year. They're projected to complete August 25th. Thanks to Chris and Nancy Gigi for all their help, all of their kind of guidance along the way, check-ins, questions, making sure that we're getting exactly what we want and what our school and our students need. Athletics fall practice date officially starts August 18th. So Joe Harris is working with the coaches and surrounding schools to try to find some alternative practice facilities to make sure that we can start on the 18th. That information will be sent out to stakeholders once it's finalized. Human Resources and Payroll Department, Dawn and Roxy have been working really hard to get all the calendars set, clean up last year, get everything started and prepared for this year. So really appreciate both of them working so hard and also being really welcoming to me as I enter this team. State reporting, Laura and Dawn have successfully completed the state reporting for the prior school year and are working on getting all of the new reporting requirements and systems set up so we can hit the ground running as we enter this new one. And we also completed the first ODE SPED stipend reporting. That was new this year. Facilities and maintenance, overall, Keenan and his crew are working really hard. The students are working hard here every day and updating some projects out front with the playground. And then, of course, a lot of behind the scenes work that we will see in September. Please just keep in mind that during the construction, the building needs to stay closed except for maintenance and specific employees for safety. As far as schedules and systems here in place, we've been finishing up the master schedules for our K-6, making sure they're in line, aligned with all K-12 staff requirements, staffing adequately, and then aligning to meet those RTI and intervention systems that we need in place. We have PLC meetings and staff meeting schedule set, advisory schedule set, bell schedule, organizational chart to help with transparency and just communication with the community, with the board, with students, who is who. That's going to be posted out on the website shortly. We have one final picture to add to it. No, handbooks are being updated. Those will be done by August 1st, so families can have access to those. Both student and staff handbooks will be completed by then. And staff in-service is set for August 18th through the 20th, with teacher work days to follow. And some of that will be cleaning up and prepping the campus to make sure it's safe and healthy for everyone to return. Community engagement, we are doing the monthly visits. Tonight we did our talk about our schools, which was a great turnout. So fun to meet new people and also see familiar faces and just start that connection component. We're going to do grounds for discussion at the Little Heifer on Thursday morning from 7 to 8, and then we'll continue this every month at different local businesses. We're sending a lot of newsletters out and social media reporting and just little blurbs trying to get some excitement around the school and then also inform people what's going on. Brick and mortar and learn at home registrations are open. We've been promoting that, and we're also opening campus on August 12th and 13th to make sure that we have access here for families who might need assistance or just access to a computer to get registration done. So that is what's happening. Great. Any questions?
I'm just curious how much reporting that sped stipend required, like how big of a report that, because it seemed like a small thing, but then there's how much paperwork was involved in that.
There's always a little bit of paperwork.
What do they need to know? Like that you gave it to people?
That you gave to people who, what their positions are, and it's really not hard. It's just some extra work.
Well, I would say thank you to putting this on, and also to all the staff to make it, outstanding. Okay, next up is our financial statements, and I think they're
Dawn gave it to me.
you again. It's Dawn. Yep.
Blue light. Okay. So Dawn cannot make it tonight. You have had access to everything. He said to share with you that nothing has changed since last meeting. We are in the beginning of the audit process and close to paying the June invoices and basically getting all of the books set up for the 25-26 year. There will be a lot more detail in August.
Great. Any questions on any of the financials? Or we can always have them.
I was gonna say I can try to answer anything
I
or
was looking at them, I'm like, these look exactly like last month.
typically June to July.
Mr. Giggy, seismic construction update.
Yes, here we go. Turn on the video. Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Great, great. Very brief report for you tonight. Frankly, Stacy just gave it for us. From everything we're being told by Todd Construction for the seismic project and by Salem Fire for the fire alarm projects, they're on track for delivery. We just had a coordination meeting with them this afternoon. Looked at some other details between them. Everybody would like the work to go faster, but right now they're on track to finish by the end of the month. And Stacy has done a great job. We've already inundated her with a number of things and decisions. One of the things that has been made, a decision was made recently, is I think all of you have seen that just horrible blue tile that's on the stage. And the project is only demolishing just a couple of feet on each side of it. And it's going to be a pretty minimal price, and the contractor is going to be able to fit it in their schedule to replace that tile. So it's already being chipped up. I think Keenan's crew actually is pitching in to save a little bit of money to remove the old tile, and then they'll come in and we'll have all new tile there. So otherwise, everything's just moving along. And I think Nancy was actually going to connect with Stacy and Laura and perhaps try to set up a time that you folks might like to take a walk through. We could do that, at the end of a day, maybe when there's not as much construction. There's it's a beehive of activity right now, but we'll connect with you and see if that's something you're interested in. I think everything else is in our report. There's not much else that I could say of note, but is there any questions on that for us?
I have a question about the tile. I know that that was originally something that we wanted to do, was replace all the tile in this project, and then we had that big discussion early on about costs, and we decided that maybe that was something we could live without due to
That's right.
cost. And so now, is all the tile gonna be replaced now?
You're talking about floor tile?
On the stage?
Yes, yeah, that's right. That's right, Soren. That was one of the things. We had a whole list of items, but where we were in the budget at that time, we had concerns about really getting through the demolition phase, seeing what surprises were in store for us, nailing down some of the particular costs. On a project like this, there's still some unknowns, particularly with mechanical and electrical, but we're getting closer to nailing that down. Right now, I think you can see in the budget that we have, where is it? Let me scroll back up. It's in your packet. Right now, we do have some things that are not shown here that are committed costs but we have about $40,000 left in our contingency. And that tile work that Stacy has approved is going to be about $1,000 for the new tile. So price came in really good.
Okay, yeah, oh, that's way less than what I think we were looking at before.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
Anything else?
I don't think so. That was very quick. Thank you so
Terrific.
much. Thank you for the
All right.
updates.
Have a great evening.
You as well.
Please for me.
I think
Thank
that's the
you.
nicest we've ever made it to reports.
Amen. Shall I?
But let's move right into new business, and we'll have Mr. Greenberg first presenting on our community resilience grant opportunity. Laura, would you mind sharing your microphone so the public can hear him? Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Peter Greenberg with Energy Wide Services, and Benton County called me up, asked me if I could help them out with CREP grants through the Oregon Department of Energy, Community Resiliency, something or another. Basically, it's for solar and batteries, and it's essentially for rural communities. I think there was 50 million to start with, and it's about 12 million this year. And looking at everything, I think you have a very good chance of getting the grant, and it pays for 100%. Consumers Power limits the size of a solar system that anybody can have to pretty small system of 25 kilowatts of AC, which is about 32 kilowatts of DC, which is about, I don't know, 39,000 kilowatt hours a year. So the money savings isn't huge since the rates are pretty cheap. You're paying 7.5 cents a kilowatt hour, save $2,000 a year, or something like that. The key thing is you can get a very large battery to run whatever you want for, depending on what you decide to run, for a certain amount of time. So in the event of the utility turning off the power from fires or ice storms or whatever, this could be kind of a resiliency center for the community. Assuming you got kitchen, you could run some heat, and basically you want to look at the loads that you really think you need, and then figure out how much energy they use. And the nice thing is battery prices have come down a lot. Still expensive, but come down a lot. So, you could get whatever, a few days, or just have to look at your load. And the way it works is it's for public agencies, but also nonprofits that team up with them, water districts, tribal people, whatever. And I've been talking with the person that runs the program. There's both money for planning, which I would skip that part, and then implementation. If you just did solar, you get 50%. Solar and batteries is 100%. So since you really can't put up a big solar system, it makes sense to do a big battery. And, you know, the way it works is the grant doesn't really look at the money part. It's up to $1 million. So most people ask for just $1 million. But then, you know, and you basically want to show that it's benefiting the community. That, you know, people can come charge your cell phones here, charge up a little portable battery if they have CPAP machines, put some food in the freezer, whatever. And then you might be able to save a little more money. Your electric bill is in two parts, the kilowatt hours and kilowatts. The kilowatts is the demand charge, is the highest amount of electricity used at any one time. Let's say you have 10 100-watt light bulbs, 10 times 100, so 1,000, so it's 1 kilowatt hour for 1 hour. And looking at your last bill, you paid, like, your maximum was 98 kilowatts. So you could use ideally part of the battery to cut down your kilowatts, and that saves $9 a kilowatt. So let's just say you save 20 kilowatt hours a month, 20 kilowatts a month, $180 times 12, whatever it is, a couple $1,000 more. You know, take a little bit of looking at the electric bill and hourly use and all that. So, you know, you fill in the grant stuff, and it was due August 22nd. They're going to move it to September 10th or 11th. I was just talking to the guy today. That's nice. And, you know, then if you get it, which I think you can, then you bid it out to solar people like myself. And personally, I would say, you know, the state wants, you know, if you're saying you're going to do X number of kilowatts of solar, X number of kilowatt hours of battery, then I would put in a simple bid, not these 200-page things that people write up. You know, we want a minimum of X number of kilowatts and X number of kilowatt hours. You really can't do more than solar. But, you know, if somebody wants to say, hey, we'll do, you know, 700 kilowatt hours of battery, somebody else says 500, then they go for the 700. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Any questions or anything?
I do.
Is there anything that you want to add for this?
I just really like the idea of a community hub. If there is a crisis, an emergency, that's a place where people, I mean, this is the place people will come for supports. And if we can add this element, then that's great. And that's why I was interested in bringing it to the board.
And then are you looking for a vote this evening, or are you just looking for?
I think we do need support from the board.
Okay, so just check it. Sorry, go ahead.
I have two basic questions. What is the cost of maintaining a system like this?
Really nothing.
I mean, things break and wear out, so.
Yeah, it's a 10-year warranty typically on the batteries, on the solar inverter, 25-year warranty on the solar panels. I mean, my company owns 150 solar systems for the last 10 years. You know, some things wear out, but overall the solar panels will last forever. The batteries will last a certain amount of time, whatever that is.
Is there data anywhere that does kind of explain some of those expenses and how long a system might last?
Yeah, the batteries, they typically say that you'll get 8,000 discharges. You know, if you're just using it for emergency use, you're not going to get that near that at all. If you're using it to cut your demand charge, then, you know, you'll get more. And I really got to look closely at your electric bill to figure out, you know, a 25 kilowatt solar system, you know, let's say it makes 2,000 kilowatt hours in December, whatever the number is, you know, you're only going to charge up your battery so much. But, you know, it might be worth it to charge your battery off grid power to, you know, at night, let's say when nothing else is on, less stuff is on, and then to, you know, cut your demand during the day somewhere. So it's kind of a bonus. I mean, normally solar doesn't really save anything in demand charges, but the battery's good. But yeah, there's really very little maintenance. The batteries are warranted for 10 years, 8,000 discharges. You know, there's a lot. tons. And, like CATL, the largest battery manufacturer in the world, is warranting batteries for 600,000 miles in vehicles at 80% output at the end.
And you said they're extending the deadline to when?
I think it's September 11th, September 10th or something like that. Yeah, the county came with me with 3 places. Yours are really the most appropriate. Small church in Monroe, food bank. There really wasn't any place to put solar. And then a small place. But this is kind of perfect what they want. Rural community support. You're actually, be used for something for resiliency. I was just, I'm gonna bid on a place by Mount Hood that won an award last year, a little community center. You got everything they got.
Now, are these building mounted or like a field, or what is
Oh.
the thought on that?
30 kilowatts isn't real big. That roof, this roof, it's 22 square feet per pound, couple, I don't know, 1,500 square feet. I did a little layout.
So up off the ground?
Yeah.
Okay.
You could, Mount Hood, they're doing a carport, it's expensive, but really wouldn't be any good here. It makes more sense to put on. But we've installed 45,000 solar panels over the years. I got into schools in Corvallis, Albany, Turner, Mount Angel, Medford, Silverton. Lots of places.
You just hear the arguments with some that have gone this way, especially in larger facilities, that sometimes the reward basically becomes a wash when there really is no savings when it's time to replace, or the system is finally outdated. And so I'm just curious.
Solar panels lose about 0.5% a year. So in 25 years, their warranty could be 84% output, but the specific battery, again, a lot more. The rate increases are a lot faster than depreciation, and consumers is a lot more reasonable. But even 85% is pretty good. 25 years, and the inverters are cheap. They've got a lot less expensive over the years. We could replace one in an hour. And you can get, you can put in the bid that you want some spares. Get a spare inverter. The tiny part of the cost, and you could have a maintenance thing in there because some people come wash them once a year or whatever. So you could do anything you want with solar.
Okay. Thank you.
Actually, part of your answer added another question to mine. You talked about having someone come watch them. Is there special training that our facilities person could maybe do that?
Water.
And then you were talking about
Just get the dust off.
managing the energy usage, looking at like the cost and whether to use your batteries to offset your electric bill versus saving it for emergencies versus using the batteries and like charging them at night off the grid during the winter. How much training might it take to have a layperson learn all that stuff in order to manage that sort of thing effectively?
I would,
You would,
yeah.
whoever-
It's really just looking at really an hourly look at your electric bill.
I was just thinking somebody might have to like throughout the year look at all that
Yeah,
stuff and
and-
adjust it as time goes on. It would be really useful to have someone here at the school who understood all that and could
Yeah.
do those things.
And certain things you can't, you're not gonna, your heat's gonna be on when you need your heat, for the most part. But things like your new fire alarm system, might need battery backup or might have battery. I don't know, you don't have fire sprinklers or anything like that, or maybe you're getting them at Newco. I don't know if they have pumps or whatever, but it's really just looking at all your different loads, deciding what you want to run, refrigerators, communication.
I was just thinking how long it might take if we wanted a local employee to manage all that sort of stuff, how much knowledge it would take to effectively manage that system?
I mean, we could send it to, the battery manufacturer to take a class. I mean, the battery management systems are pretty simple these days, web-based.
And
This really seems like something that it would have been
They have solar panels at the library.
part of. So they wanted-
So, my only concern is, are we talking about like a lithium Tesla battery type battery? Is that what we're talking about?
They're pretty much all lithium ion phosphate.
Yeah. So where would that battery be fixed and located? Because if it catches on fire,
Outside.
you can't put it out. So, okay,
Lithium is basically lithium nickel metal.
hydride.
Yeah,
But those are old.
that's, everybody's using lithium iron phosphate, which is
Mhm.
significantly safer. But it would go outside.
Significantly safer until they catch on fire.
Not being.
I mean, we've done a lot of renovation. I know we have an inadequate generator for the facility, so this could alleviate the concerns that has, because right now I think, from what I've been told, I don't have all the details, our generator can't run the facility. I think the challenge is the fuel for the generator. Someone else must know more than this than I do, because I heard this from a community member and was gonna like bring it up at some point to get further information. But from what I was told, it just doesn't allow the generator to function, or we can't get a big enough generator based on the fuel supply to really power the building. And so
Supplies.
I think it's something we could dive into as a board. It's not going to happen tonight, but I think this, if we had a solar battery, even a battery, like you said, that's charged on the grid as a backup power supply when we do lose power, because it used to be 2 years ago, like, 3 times a week, and now it's only 3 times a year, but nothing says it's not going to go back to 3 times a week. That the school doesn't have to close and the parents don't have to pick up their kids because there's no power and there's no water and there's, so I think it's ideal. I just want that safety net of the lithium battery. I'm sure it would be, it's a commercial building, but having seen a couple go on fire myself, not personally, but friends that had them, it's catastrophic, right? It's not. I don't think the LC Fire Department's equipped to handle a lithium fire, is what I'm saying. We have to wait 45 minutes for Corvallis to get here, and then it's a total loss.
So one of my original questions, said that Consumers Power limits the size of the solar panels.
Yeah.
I just find that odd. How do they enforce that? Like, what if we put up way more than what they wanted us to put up? What would happen?
You got to get a permit.
Oh,
And you can't, they don't let you sell back power to Consumer Power, so it's a moot point anyway. There's no, yeah, but there's no way. I checked. So like, if you get solar panels as a homeowner, you can't, they won't buy your power. You're just charging your batteries in your house. So
and then
they're a little behind the curve.
Well, they lose money on solar.
Yeah.
That's what they told me. They get a good deal from Bonneville. They really like to go to time of use rates, which could happen in a few years or something like that. But for now, they're limited to 25 kilowatts of AC. You can put in more DC, but you can only send so much back to them. You're not gonna send any back to them since you use power all the time.
Right.
A big solar system, but
so of this $50 million grant, what in a facility like this, what would you envision? How much of that would be spent on panels versus batteries? I'm just
It would be
curious.
$1 million.
I mean, it
Yeah.
depends on how big you go with batteries, but
I mean, imagine batteries would be the bulk of.
a solar set, a 30 kilowatt solar system. I mean, I almost put some of those in houses these days, but I don't know, it might cost 60,000, let's say. It's a little more when you're doing a public entity, get bonds, prevailing wage on this junk, but and batteries, you could get 600, maybe even you could even get a megawatt of battery. There'd be the bulk of the,
In that $1 million.
yeah.
Yeah.
You can get a big battery.
Yeah.
I just have a question on the installation. You made a statement about kind of skipping the planning phase and going to the implementation phase. We just, upgraded all of our power. Does this grant cover the contracting of an electrical company to come in and tie things together? Is that something that comes out of our own capital cost? Is that, because that feels part of the planning stage, and so I would want to,
Well, the planning stage is just a study,
okay,
yeah.
that's helpful, thank you.
Yeah, consultant. Give you this much and charging the state $100,000. And basically just saying school is using X amount. Here's all their critical loads, what they're
Okay.
using, and then your battery, is gonna provide power for X number of hours for the load you pick.
And then, do we know if the grant covers the additional components of
Yeah.
installation, not just like the panels, but like it is?
Well, it
Okay.
covers the whole
Okay,
shebang.
okay,
And particularly if you have a generator, you gotta do it right, because you don't want the generator fighting with batteries. But they got good controls on it for a generator. How big's your generator? No idea.
No idea. But
I'll take notes.
I'm writing it.
we're gonna, I know someone who knows, they're not here, but they had all the details and I probably should have been taking notes, but I was just listening. Like the fourth call in a month and a half, so from the
Is that
same
the one
person.
that's owned by the county?
It was, yeah, it was,
Discussed here, but it was never, yeah.
it's a August or
And it was
September
supposed
board
to
meeting
be-
thing.
Was
It's
it
not a
supposed to be
July
up
meeting.
by our water System to support it in the event of an
Yeah,
incident?
yeah.
So technically the school really doesn't have one.
It's just to run the water.
No. there's
I-
not.
From my, is what I
Well,
think.
it could have, yeah, it's,
This topic, and then
Yeah.
I think.
Well, the
Sounds like it's-
generator, I'm like, we need to know who owns it. Is it our generator? Is the
I don't
district?
believe it's-
Okay.
we'll get all the details.
Mm.
I'll take on the task of digging deep with Stacy. I know there's just some confusion from a few people about what happened to the generator project and how it didn't come through. And so I would imagine this was a few years ago. That's what I'd imagine. Yeah.
That too.
I imagine the board knew very little about it. So,
Other questions on the grant, though?
no, I would love to make a motion to allow the school, Stacy, to apply for the Community Renewable Energy Grant Program for the 2025 fiscal year application. If that's, I didn't see.
Things states that you have to have her name and title in it.
Okay, Stacy
You have to,
Stacy Knudsen, the superintendent of Elsie School District, to apply for the Community Renewable Energy Grant Program.
I second that motion.
Other discussion or question?
I would love to see more of that data about cost and maintenance and stuff before I made an official decision. I would really love to see if it's truly a good investment and how that pencils out.
I just on that discussion, I would agree with him. It's never going to be the fact that we can do this under a grant is the only reason we'd ever do it. It's never going to save the school money over the long term, but at the very least, even if it fails, so we have a non-functioning solar system that we can't use if it failed in 15 years and we couldn't afford to fix it. Solar is very expensive. The batteries are extremely expensive. The only benefit absolutely under this is that we get the money for free. And we have this
resource.
battery, the whole thing is about the battery. Even if we got a grant just to buy a battery, we could charge on the hard line, it would make sense because you have that battery power backup. The solar panels in Oregon are about 30-40%, effective compared to like Arizona or somewhere. But, when you look at the construct of being able to buy these very expensive batteries that we can't budget for, you have better, it just flips like your generator, right? And then everything's drawing off that battery until the battery's depleted. You got to gauge, how low they are, when they're going to end, how to cycle it down. But all that's automated, it all works within the system. So from my standpoint, I mean, I've done a lot of research because I seriously thought about using solar until I realized it's only going to cost me money because maybe they do from a business, they won't buy it from a homeowner back. So if you can't sell it back, you use it or lose it, right? So
Basically, you deal as a bank and you have a year. So, let's just make it, the home system makes 10,000 or whatever. if you're making more in July, then you can offset.
Right, you can bank it.
Up to what you use.
Right.
And so if you're making more in July than you're using, the excess rolls over the next month. And I know Pacific Power, the end of the year is March, figuring it's less sun in the winter, probably the same consumers. So, you know, they're not buying it, but you're offsetting what you're using
Right.
for the same amount.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and I kind of agree with, like, I thought about putting up solar and, I was like, solar in Oregon, I was like, maybe it's not worth it, but those batteries, if I could afford to have a bunch of big batteries, I would do it anyway. Just to have those batteries.
Right.
So the fact that, like you said, getting those batteries at no cost to us is
Yeah.
a big
It's a
thing
good
in my
thing.
mind.
And, you know, you can have a 10-year maintenance schedule built in, for.
To the
whatever
grant.
Contractor gets it for, for some maintenance, but, not that much.
So are you gonna work on the grant? Is that the county sent you here to help us work on the grant? Is that, okay,
I'm applying for another school in Turner, and we already have solar on it 10 years ago that we own. And then the Boys and Girls Club in Lebanon. And-
well, I only ask because we had that conversation about her schedule the next month and a half
Well,
is
you know,
like, yeah, pretty solid, so.
Electrical. I'd be good if I could, but I basically need a list of all the stuff you want on the battery.
Sure.
And then the amps and the volts, and we could figure out how long it's gonna run for. But you can get a lot of battery scrap.
Okay,
A lot.
sounds good.
Feel like as you guys work on that grant, you could get Jamie the information sheet, because there is time before the grant application goes in. 'Cause I would
Right.
like to see everybody be.
But with
spending
all
on that.
grants, I would advise getting it in as soon as possible because when they run out of money, they run out of money. And, if they run out of 12 million by September 3rd, it'll be done September 3rd. I don't know if that's all they have, the 12 million left in the year for the pipeline, but yeah, of course, of course.
I think you know in December if you get it.
Okay,
Well, and I even feel appreciative of this feedback and input from
Oh, yeah.
Torn and us, so.
They could definitely build in a maintenance plan in there.
I
that's,
just don't want to commit to stuff that's gonna
Sure.
cost more that we're gonna have to budget in later and reduce resources and stuff for kids, so
right,
I just wanna make
exactly.
sure that
Oh,
we're
no, I
making sound
agree. I agree.
decisions.
We'll do a roll call vote. Oh. You have to give her her microphone back. Yes, thank you.
I wonder if you're just nodding over there.
George,
Yes.
Lauren,
Yes.
Russ,
Yes,
Yes,
Christie. Yes. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. All right, so we'll move back up to the top of the order now, and we'll go with our cell phone ban for the executive order. Benson, can you, there's nothing for us to vote on this evening. This is just informational for us.
It really is.
Okay.
Yep. So Executive Order 2509, personal electronic device restrictions in public K-12 school settings. By October 31st, we have to have a policy adopted that spells all of this out, which means we'll have to have a first read and a second read before that. And then also align into our student handbooks, student code of conduct and staff handbooks. And then by January 1st, 2026, the implementation needs to be fully in place. My goal is that it would be fully in place when school starts, because a mid-year change is extremely difficult. And ultimately, this is for the benefit of the students and their learning environment. The requirements would be that it's going to prohibit the use of personal electronic devices, so that's smartwatches, cell phones, tablets, iPads, anything outside of the district issued Chromebooks or a student laptop that can make and receive calls and text messages or access the internet outside of our secure network. So prohibits that use from the time they walk into the building until the time that they leave. If they are leaving because they're checking out at lunch, of course, they could take it then and then check it back in before the next period begins. Let's see. It's pretty straightforward. The idea of it is that we are creating a safe, healthy learning environment where kids can focus on the instruction, staff can focus on the students' learning. There's not a lot of extra distractions. There's also the social component that can happen where there's a lot of anxiety, stress, and then bullying potentially bullying or harassment behaviors that can happen as a result of that cell phone use, secretly, very sneaky, how that can work in the classroom. So the idea is that we're creating a really safe, healthy learning environment for our students, and that's consistent across all classrooms, doesn't matter where at on campus. As far as responding to noncompliance, there are protocols in place. It can never be punitive. They can't lose instructional time. So there would have to be parameters in place for handling those situations. But again, it's really just working with the student, working with students and their families to reiterate the importance of putting cell phones away to focus on learning when we're in the classroom. And then at the end of the day, getting it back. I don't know how much more you want to know, or just maybe questions that you have. Are there any questions?
Well, I got a ton. So, first of all, I don't like this executive order at all. I think we have to have a lot of consideration about the liability the school is going to face if we take the student's cell phone from them and store it. One, there's privacy concerns, because if someone accesses that phone, even staff, without the student's permission, that's a liability. Two, if the wrong cell phone given back to the wrong student, there's a liability. If it's broken or damaged while it's in the school's custody, that's a liability. And then you get into this, I dropped my phone and cracked the screen on the way to school, but mom, dad, I didn't break it until the school had it. It's not my fault. So this is a whole can of worms that I think the governor's out of her mind, as always, when they come to these severe orders. I think the order should much more read, the school should define a policy where the students do not have access to their phone during class time, right? Learning time. And how we implement that is up to the superintendent, the organizational operation of that, and the discipline with that. And, because when you have these overreaching arguments, I don't think legislators, even our national legislators always think about the negative ramifications of trying to do a positive thing. So for me personally, just on the board, not as a parent, I have a real concern with the liability factor in this. Because there's just no way, even though we only have a couple hundred students, right? There's no way that something's not going to happen through the course of a year, right? Number two, as a parent, I have a concern because I'm not giving my kids $1,000 cell phone to anybody to hold on during the day, because that's their property, right? They can't know if there was a classroom storage place for them, like their locker or something like that, that's locked, safe. I see that. But secondly, sometimes cameras are important. Things happen, and the only documentation, it's not always negative. The only documentation is a kid managed to take a video or an audio recording. I think we walk a dangerous slope when we think that the teacher is always doing what they're told, or the school is always doing what they should, and we take away the parental right to understand what's happening in a classroom without being there. So Oregon is in defiance of executive orders from the government, Title IX especially. I'm absolutely in defiance of this executive order as it invades my child's privacy and their personal property. We live in a rural community. Some families are 30, 40 minutes away from the school. In an emergency, if all these phones are in one location in the school, how does the school get those phones quickly to a kid or at all to notify their parents that, hey, there was a fire, there was a flood, there was this, there was that. So I think this is just opening a huge can of worms. I am absolutely supportive of kids not using their phones in the classroom, but I am absolutely against the governor telling us how to do it. So my voice as the board member that I am is to tell you that I have every belief that you could figure out a way to make this work, but I don't believe in a year or two that they're going to be able to say this worked out well if we put them all in a room away from wherever. That those are my concerns. None of these are at you or the board, right? It's just that this overreaching legislation that, plus we also have kids like my son who's graduated now, but was on an IEP that needed the phone for his IEP, right?
There are exceptions for that.
Yeah,
There's-
but the problem is then that kid is easily identified as, oh, well, he's on an IEP because he has his phone, right? Like, it just leads to all of these conflicting arguments, right? And this is why the legislature didn't pass it.
Can I add a
Go
few
ahead.
points to that?
Yeah,
I
I'm
was just
done.
Because there's been some conversation amongst a few of, all of, I wouldn't say all of us, but a few of us kind of like bounce this around. You know, you're right, the legislature did not pass this. They had a bipartisan bill and it got stomped out by the governor. And so this is what I would say to the community. I think I'm not using this to grandstand, but I'm gonna just put this out to the community. We have some participants. I'm sure people will watch this. If you are frustrated, our hands, this board's hands are just as tied as your administrators' hands are, as your teachers are, as your staff is. You need to get in contact with your governor if there is a frustration or things like that. At the end of the day, you know, one thing that's important to call out is this is not a law. This is an executive order. However, the superintendent of the state is the governor who has the control to strip our administrators and our teachers of their licensure to teach these students. And I'm so sorry that it has come to this because we don't have the right to run our school now in this space. And so to that, I would just say, you know, I think
Yeah.
all of us have our own personal feelings. If there is that, I mean, you can give public comment every day, but
Right.
change won't happen at this table because we
Can't.
won't be
Well,
allowed to do
absolutely.
that change. So I just really want to, I mean, there's.
No, and my point for
consequences
the record is to
absolutely.
say that the board, we feel the same, right? As board members, as parents and community members.
I also agree with phones out of the classroom. I just want us to
Yes.
make those
Right.
decisions.
No, and all of that is valid, and I think we can work together as a team to come up with a plan that doesn't violate this order.
Right.
That still creates a safe learning environment that's focused and free of distractions, but also is reasonable.
Absolutely.
Does this come with any sort of funds to buy those little storage pouches or anything?
No, but we've already located some, so every classroom would have them. They would just check them into that when they walk into class.
And then
they
are
have
there,
it.
is there any guidance regarding how to enforce it, since they tell you what you can't do to enforce
Right.
it? Is there some guidance on how you do enforce it?
Well, the question is, are these storage pouches like locked?
It is, it's actually like a
So
case.
for the elementary, because they're less,
Mhm.
and they don't have lockers, there are pouches that will be behind the teacher's desk. For the secondary classes, I bought, boxes that are lock boxes that can be by the teacher's desk, or if we have a fire drill or something, can be picked up and carried.
I do also want to state for training I received in, you know, first responder space is sometimes when you have too much information going out, it makes the scene more unsafe for the students and the teachers and the first responders. So not necessarily having that communication, while as a parent, that makes me anxious. I'd really want my kid to be able to have contact with me. I also know how dangerous that makes things for others. So we have to trust and rely on the systems we have in place for the staff to get this information out to families as soon as possible. And there are, most people, I believe, are connected through Remind. I got a bunch of them this week already. So that's a quick way for our school to let us know that there's an issue. And we have to know that the staff is trained and is going to get that notification out as soon as safely possible. So we got to trust in that.
Yeah, and I want
Space
to
too.
be sure that we give the community every detail we can
Yes.
about how this is
How it's gonna play
working.
out.
Like including like these are where the phones are gonna be.
Totally.
This is like what's gonna happen exactly when the kid comes to school. This is where it's going to go, and that's where it's gonna be, and it's gonna be locked, and this and that's gonna be like so far away from their usual classroom or whatever. That kind of information, I think, is very important to the community.
Well, and something I have brought up also was from a parent perspective, and I know other parents in the community are probably going to have this perspective, is here we are talking about what we are expecting of our students. I also want to know that the staff is going to be held to a certain level and standard as well. And so I think that's something we just got to make sure that we communicate it very, very
Mhm.
well.
Mhm.
What do you need from your board in support, like in support?
Well,
How do we support you in this?
I think, opening up a space for sharing concerns. I think that's really healthy. They're all valid. There's also this order. We do need to come up with a really creative, healthy plan that is secure, that provides that opportunity to learn in a free of distraction zone. However, not completely taking away the rights of families and students. So, I think having these conversations is great. It's really healthy. We could probably set up some kind of a Google form survey so families could give some feedback. I could set that up. That would be great. And then come together, and might be a work session to come up with a plan. I mean, this isn't operational, but it is also policy. So it's kind of a mix of
Right.
both
Somebody out
parties.
there might have a great idea.
Yeah, exactly.
How to make people feel more comfortable.
Yep. So I have no problem putting together a little survey through a Google form and send that out and just get some feedback. I can ask some other districts too, if they're, what kind of questions they're asking. Keep it short and sweet, but an opportunity to give feedback.
So is your goal to have a policy voted on in September at our September board meeting?
I would prefer that because I would like to have the handbooks. I want to start the year clean, clear expectations for everybody.
So do you want us to do a work session before our August meeting? Which is actually only about 2
Which
weeks
is only
away.
a couple weeks away, I know.
And so that's where I'm thinking, like, does the school take its kind of look at it first, and then we do a work session? I don't know, I'm just kind of looking through the timeline of all of that. Because at the end of the day too, it's a policy the board would approve on how to operationally implement something, correct?
Correct.
And so, does it have to be perfect at first pass? Can there make adjustments throughout the year also if things aren't working? You know, I don't know what
They
that
can,
looks like.
they totally can. And really, Alsea School District already has this expectation
Sure.
in place. I mean,
Mhm.
when I was going through the handbook to try to make some edits on the discipline side of things, it really
Mhm.
is in place that you do not have your phone out during instructional time. And that is the mission. People can get nitpicky, we can get down in the weeds.
Right, and
Ultimately,
that
we don't want
is
to have phones. during
exactly.
class.
It just didn't work for a while because the teachers had their phone out the whole
Mhm.
class, so the kids did too,
Right, and
right?
so,
Like,
but
and
yes, when
you
I
know,
say
the
update handbooks, it's both.
right,
handbooks.
right. No, and that's what I mean. But this is where it all comes down to. You could effectively do this as an administrator without any government overreach. I think we're grasping at straws, but at the very least, I know we have to comply with the supposed executive order until it changes again. But yeah, I'll help any way I can. I just think we have to look at this through multiple lenses.
You guys are comfortable, I could bring
Well,
the
I
handbook to August meeting and we could just approve that. That can
Mhm.
get us started
Sure.
and then we can formally adopt. the
No, I think
policy.
that's good.
Okay.
Would that be a policy first read in August, second read September? Okay. Okay.
It's good.
Organizational chart. It's just that update.
It's just an update. I'm working on getting pictures, but just a visual, so you can see the layout of the leadership and who's in charge of which departments. It will go on the website as well. I think it helps families, like, who do I reach out to? Who do I talk to for this situation? And it's just a face and a name and a contact.
Questions, suggestions? Thank you. All right, election of board officers. This is where the board gets to nominate and discuss what they want to see in their board officers. Usually we have gone through nominations first. I had an idea that we could talk a little bit first about what this board wants to see in their board officers, but that's not necessarily, we don't have to do that way. Whatever anybody wants to do. So I put it out there for the election of board officers.
Sounds fantastic. Well, I would just like to say that I'm very proud of our board. The last couple of months, there was a lot of heavy lifting. George is brand new and I think was like fire hose. This is like Niagara Falls, man. This is crazy. We all learn and grow on the board and we all, make choices along the way, some good, some bad. I've learned a tremendous amount this year. I respect all of you. And you know, my heart has changed a little bit in the last few months. I'd say a lot, because you know I've really gotten to know all of you very well, and I'm reminded in life that sometimes, you know, when you are in a position of leadership, it is difficult for other people to understand the dynamics that you have to have and the role that you have to play. I've always been a very strong supporter of great leaders and even bad leaders in the military, because I had to. Racine, I truly appreciate your service. It has really been a pleasure to speak with you more the last few months. I apologize for some past situations because I feel, um, you know, what I strive to do in conflict is to go to that conflict head on, because that's the only way to resolve conflict. You and I have had some very, you know, nice conversations, and I appreciate you. And I know you hadn't served. I mean, you've served a long time. Um, why I feel the way I do, and I just want to say this very clearly. We have a brand new superintendent. I didn't expect that a few months ago. We've went through a process as a board collectively, I think in a very healthy fashion. Um, I would like to nominate you to serve as board chair again this year. And I would like to say why publicly. I believe you have tremendous value in the history in this position and understanding of working with a superintendent personally, and professionally. I think you understand the policies and procedures better than most, especially me. And I think that you've, at least for me, you have been able um, to really communicate effectively about your mistakes. I have mine, and share your heart, which meant a lot to me. And I know that you didn't want to serve as board chair again. I kind of believe that if we change courses right now, in my personal experience and opinion, that it would be a little bit of a learning curve the next few months. And even if you didn't want to do it all year, we could revisit. But I think the consistency with Stacy being brand new, adds a lot of value. I've watched you do the contract and the public statements and the, you know, the press releases. And I really respect you. I know this nomination has to come from me, because a few months ago it didn't. Um, and publicly, I want to thank you for your service, and for your character. And if you're willing to serve, I would like to nominate you to serve as our board chair one more year, even though I can only do one more. Because I think you've done a great job, and I think the board deserves that. I think Stacy deserves that, and that's where I'm at.
Is this where I can second his statement?
We'll make another nomination too. And with that said, or, you know,
Where are we? Waiting for Jamie. George?
Yes.
Lauren?
Yes.
Jane?
Yes.
Christine?
Yes.
Russ?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
I will just say thank you for all of that. I appreciate that. Boy, have I learned a lot. I'm just gonna throw this out there for everybody to hear. Boy, giving control over is not my thing. I think everybody has probably seen that now. But I learned a lot about working as a team and, the work that this board has done in the last 4 months. There's no way one of us could have done it on our own. And I'm so extremely thankful that we've had hard conversations, that we've had those in public and in private and have continued to build them forward. So I'm gonna ask for the reminder that my face carries a lot. And sometimes it's
Oh, you're smiling now.
so
No, I'm
it's just sometimes I need to be called out for wearing my emotions on my face too, even if it's a gentle kick in the shin. So just as human as everybody else.
Yeah, I was prepared to do that, but I agree, consistency is pretty important, especially when you got.
I think the juncture we're at
inconsistencies at
is
other times. It's appropriate.
more delicate than I would have liked at this point. You know, I really value you guys. I can't say that, I mean, there's moments in your life where you question things, and then there's moments you have to realize when you erred. And a lot of that is just miscommunication and misunderstanding. You know, I think the personal part of this is where we miss out because we're always here in this room, and we all have busy lives. And until you really take the time to get to know someone personally, it's hard when you're just at a board meeting. And so for the community, I'll probably be a couple instant messages tomorrow for me. You know, I would advise the community to get to know the board members personally. So that way, instead of questioning the board and our ideas and our beliefs and our ethics, they know us, right? But we have to start first, right? So, and you know, on that note, you know, Jamie, I know you've had a lot of stress in your life, but I would like to nominate you to be the vice chair of the board this year. I think you've demonstrated a great ability to see through the cloudiness sometimes and to look at things from different perspectives. And I think you were struggling a few months ago with a lot of things in your life. I feel that I know you want to learn more about the board and grow into that position. And I think you would do a great job. So I would make a nomination that Jamie Olson would be the vice chair for the LC School District School Board.
Thank you. Also take other nomination.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
Their nomination. Go ahead, Laura.
Russ,
Yes.
Glenn,
Yes.
George,
Yes.
Yes,
motion carried 5-0.
thank you.
All right.
You're amazing.
On that
I can
note,
do it.
actually,
Let's go Ag Sciences. No,
Sorry,
Sure.
the staff and the students by picking up a volunteer form from Laura. So you can get cleared to volunteer in the school.
We have to do that every year.
Is it every year, or every 2?
Every year.
Can I get a new application?
I know. Sorry, shameless plug.
yeah, I totally. Like I told my wife about Taco Tuesday, and she told the kids she wasn't making dinner, and then we totally like forgot that it was already like 5:40, and I'm like, I gotta go to the meeting, and she's like, what about tacos? And I was like,
I was gonna say you guys can come to those. We won't talk board business. So
no.
but I think that's a great space too. When it works.
All right, next up, delayed 2025-2026 academic calendar. There's a proposal in here for us to review.
Yes. And so you got my calculations on Division 22 instructional minute requirements. So looking at their projected completion date of August 25th, that was originally our first day with students. So we are proposing that we start with the students on Thursday, September 4th. And what that means is it gives us August 26th, 27th, 28th to clean up the campus, to make sure that it is physically safe and healthy for our staff and students to return, as well as Tuesday the 2nd, Wednesday the 3rd. So staff can also do team meetings, prep, get in their classrooms, have everything set up for a strong, welcoming, effective start on Thursday the 4th. We are already scheduled to go Thursday the 4th and Friday the 5th that week. It would be kind of a soft start going through all requirements, expectations, the routines that always take a day or two, and then hit the ground running on the 8th with heavy content. What we would do in that time frame is we would need to add in 2 Fridays. And so I'm proposing Friday the 12th of September. That would give us a full 5 days. We have to do diagnostics, to get that baseline data that really determines all of our MTSS and our RTI, so we need to get that done that first week. And then we would have another Friday in November. November's always a little slow, and it's,
There's a lot of days off in
there's a
November.
lot of days off, and so it's a great time to put in a Friday. I think we should add in some enrichment activities, some time to, I had some good feedback from people. But it is a great idea for enrichment, for some specific time to get kids caught up. It doesn't have to be all brand new instruction, but kind of set that up so there's a high level of engagement and attendance. And so those 2 days would make that work. We still have sufficient instructional minutes to meet Division 22 requirements. We're not encroaching on the Thanksgiving break that was set up for the week, which I had heard the staff really had wanted to do that, so I didn't want to touch that if possible. So I think it's a great compromise. I think it gives plenty of time to get the school ready and get everyone back in session. That's what we are
So we're
proposing.
just for clarity,
Yeah.
because I didn't bring my glasses, so I have to
Oh,
like zoom and like look at
yes.
parts. So if we do this schedule and we have like, how many days can we be like snow day or ice day without having a makeup day in the summer? Okay, so we'll have two.
After this change,
Okay.
yes, there's 11 hours, like 11 point.
Yeah,
7 hours.
'cause
So
I mean,
it's
you
pretty
know,
close. You're right.
Depending on the year,
Exactly. But there's
It's-
the Fridays.
yeah, we can always squeeze a Friday in or a, okay. I just, cause June 16th is already pretty late,
Exactly, I didn't.
or
want to go
17th or
beyond
whatever.
That,
Yeah.
yes.
I just want to voice my concern that usually when we have school on Fridays, a lot of people don't show up.
Right.
And so replacing these lost days on Fridays means that there are kids that are gonna miss out. But I don't see a really good way to do that, other than cutting into that vacation week. That we already agreed that we would
Right.
let the teachers
Mhm.
decide. If they decided, we said, okay, and like, so I don't want to cut into that either, because we told them we were gonna take what they wanted into account.
I like that they might be enrichment days though, rather than core material. If the teachers are, I mean,
Yeah, especially that November 7th one. I do think September 12th is still so new. I'm hoping that that is a higher attendance day, and we need to get that baseline data out the gate. So,
It's completely operational, but I'd made the suggestion about trying to do something a little fun, make it ice cream day or a party day or something a little lighter to really entice those attendants. I think that the past 2 years have been set the foundation for excitement for earning, rewards and
Yeah.
shirts and sweatshirts and stuff. So I think that would just add an additional piece to maybe encourage that. And since it's so early in the year, it might set the precedence for any other extra Fridays we
Right.
can get, weather dependent.
Well,
So
and also, have them take a couple Friday days up front, and maybe they'll appreciate the other
Right.
Fridays they have off a little more.
Yeah.
Rather than just like, we always get Friday off, so I'm not gonna come to school. on
Well, we're
Friday,
going
that's
from
great.
like 4 Fridays to 8 Fridays. That's what we're doing effectively, right?
actually,
Yeah.
yeah, just adding to.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, we.
I was looking at the calendar that I thought I was looking at that looked like it had 8, but
I like this also
because there's 3 in January and then there's
Those are
4, 5,
originally
6.
scheduled because of.
Well, I know,
holidays.
I'm just saying like, so we're going from 4 last calendar year to 8 this calendar year, but I think we had 5 this last calendar year because I think we had to do an extra Friday for a makeup on
Yeah,
a
'cause
ice
there was
day or
no-
something.
there was no
Ah,
transportation.
yeah, no chance. Sorry. Sorry,
Rest.
sorry, I'm not going there. Yeah, so I mean, like, I just say as a parent, I know my kids are close, but we don't love Fridays either, but I think understand the situation, hopefully.
Well, I think too, besides that, we agreed on the November, we're in July, if people do have scheduled family vacations, like, they may have already bought those tickets.
Yeah, for
and they're
that
not
week of
listening.
Thanksgiving, yeah, for sure, for sure.
Not- Totally fall flat on my face. I am a proponent for always starting after Labor Day.
me too.
Yeah, me too.
Let's let them gear up for success and have that last weekend of fun and then into business, but.
Well, I brought it up last year. I brought it up at the calendar meeting, but don't. I told Stacy I said, hey, listen, or when you called me, I was like, oh, great, we're not starting till after Labor Day. I mean, that's totally fine by me. I mean, hey.
So
I
we
do
just
ap-
need to make a motion. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. Jamie,
No,
go
I
ahead.
do appreciate that you listened to the feedback from the staff. We felt that was very important. I'll make a motion to approve the updated Alsea School District 25-26 school calendar as presented.
I'll second the motion.
Go ahead, Laura.
Soren,
Yes.
George.
Yes.
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 You. Next, is our annual organizational resolution, for the school year. Now, many of these are kind of cut in stone, they're set in stone, they're just there. But when we get down to number 15.
Mhm.
Our meeting schedule.
It's our meeting schedule, and I do believe you have in your front of it is the whole entire year, so it's there. Meeting schedule, obviously, like we can move things around. I know all of us often have a conflict here or there. Actually, that's actually the only negotiable we have in this space. But does anybody want to discuss a different day, different time?
So what are these currently? The second Monday or Tuesday or what?
Tuesday.
Tuesday, okay.
At
And
6 p.m.
so we see that we already have conflicts with volleyball schedule, and Tuesday, Thursdays also always conflicted during basketball season as well. So I would be a huge proponent of changing the day because I know there are families with athletes. I'm relatively flexible and could say I like Monday, the thought of Mondays.
There's a lot of Monday holidays. That's the challenge. You know, I mean, I think 50% of the holidays are on Mondays. Not that they're always, even if it's the second, we'd have to look at when it falls. You know, is it because like President's Day, like Labor Day? I mean, they always observe them on. But I'm just saying, like, how many would we have to change? I'm not opposed to Mondays, by the way, at all. I just think about if we're gonna set, here's my thing is, if we want the community to be more involved in school board meetings, which hopefully they will if they're excited about school, I just want to have a consistent day where we're not moving it a lot to a
Mhm.
different day of the week, so people just know, like, oh, the second Monday of every month is the school board meeting,
Yeah.
you know, and we're not having to just change the calendar, because that just throws everyone off.
I would just say, I don't care. I don't have a preference. Even if we keep it on a Tuesday, moving things around to do that is easy, but also to that point, we lose consistency when we do that. Mondays, my only concern is getting an agenda out on a Friday and then having like just a Monday. So I would say if we're gonna look at that Monday, Wednesday option, that we look at Wednesday instead of Mondays. Cause unless we push all of our meetings back and then get the agenda out a little earlier or whatever that kind of.
Oh,
looks
what
like.
meetings? Oh, like your meetings with her and what?
Yeah, I'm still-
Yeah. Oh, I get it. Because it's got to be that window.
Yeah, it's what, week before,
Yeah.
and then it gets put out on that Friday, and then if it's Monday, like you literally have your weekend only to review.
Yeah, I will say there have been
So-
multiple times this year where I've read the important stuff on Monday because I was gone all weekend doing stuff and I didn't have time to read the board packet over the weekend. So I read the documents on the Monday before the board meeting.
From my quick glance, there's only one holiday that would fall on the second Monday. Just throwing that out there.
I mean, I'm
I see.
like, I could go either way with Mondays and Wednesdays. Like, I don't think I have a preference, but
Right now, you currently have your agenda meetings on a Monday.
Mhm.
So if you bump those to the Thursday, so I could get the agenda out to
Like the
the
next
public like
Wednesday.
that Wednesday.
Yep. That's just an
Then
organizational
it'd be
process,
ready.
yeah.
Hmm.
so it'd be, so are we talking about like the second Monday or the second Wednesday? Is that what we're talking about? Not the first, right? Yeah. I mean,
So I think the only one would be Columbus Day.
and
in
that's the
October
second.
is the second Monday. There are other holidays on Mondays, but they're not the second Monday.
Right.
Thank you.
And it's what, Columbus Day, you said?
Yeah,
Oh.
October.
Do you guys, do
13th.
they even call it that anymore? Don't they call it something else now? Like,
So that's not a school holiday even.
It's a bank holiday. I mean, your banks,
My holiday.
your banks close all the time.
Exactly, exactly. I can have a board meeting on my holiday. October 13th?
Okay, well, if you're in school, it's good by me. And Veterans Day is on a Tuesday this year, so I guess November 11th is on, it always is November 11th, so. Yeah, hey,
So I make a motion to move our school board meetings for the 25-26 school year to the second Monday of the month.
To approve the annual organization.
And
I
I
don't think she
also
can.
move to approve the
Oh, you can. I was thinking the board organization, not the annual organization.
organization.
I'm sorry, I was like
-01.
I was back a few minutes.
In the annual. The board meeting schedules to be the second Monday of every month at 6 p.m.
Correct.
There's a second.
I'll second that motion.
And so I just wanna now discuss this. Didn't we used to be on the second Monday and it was problematic for,
We're on the second Thursday.
oh, we were on Thursday.
Yeah, because I work every Thursday, like
And
inordinately
did
long.
did that change
days.
recently?
Oh, no,
It's
I work
still
every
not.
Thursday. Mhm.
Then I also had a question about the posting. You were gonna tell me about the posting? We used to do, Philomath News. And you said you would,
Yeah,
Clarify.
so the gentleman that we work with at Paloma, sent an email recently to Dawn and myself expressing concern that he was not comfortable with, the affidavit, affirming the affidavit that we have to have. And so we just decided that instead of doing Philomath, that we would do the
Go back.
Corvallis, Albany. Call it
They're
good,
probably
we
used
get
to
our
it.
confirmation, Don gets his affidavit for the audit, and it just would just be less.
Mhm.
Okay.
hassle.
Does anyone get the newspaper? No, sorry.
that's why I
think we
think we
do
moved to
online.
Philomath
True.
News, because no one was looking at it.
I just think our sign should count. Says it right on there. School board,
Yeah.
I know it doesn't count.
Question. Take a roll call vote. Okay.
Yes.
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 Okay, next up is our board training schedule. Laura, did we get any response from Vince on this?
I have not heard back from
Okay.
Vince. I got an automatic response that he was doing quite a few board trainings at
Mhm.
this time and would check back when he could, but I have not heard
And
from
anything
him.
from Kristen?
Kristen did respond a little bit ago. So in September, she has 5 dates. The 16th, the 18th, 23rd, 25th, and 29th available.
So, and I backtracked just a minute on this one. So Kristen will.
Oh, sorry, Miles.
Miles.
With OSB.
Totally off, totally not correct at all. Is another organizational development specialist. I believe she's Prince's boss, actually. I think she's like the lead now in that space. But that's who you previously worked with at Eddyville.
At
correct?
Eddyville and Owawa.
And
She did
Owawa.
both.
So she's willing to come in here. I think it's up to the board, like, I don't think there's gonna be feelings hurt by any means on who's doing that. Vince has known us from the past. Might be great to have a new perspective. Does the board have any concerns with bringing in a new person in that space?
So I've actually watched some of her presentations at conference. She's just as incredible as Vince. So I think we can see value on both of that. What were those dates again?
That
If he's
sounds.
busy, then just take
That's
the
good.
person.
And sorry, this is just the normal board training, nothing super special, but at the same time, it's like the onboard, it's like the holy
It's the
grail.
most important
It is. And
Anything
I know
I
for all
got.
of us.
Yes.
from anything other than sitting in a board meeting since I've been here.
September 16th, 18th, 23rd, 25th, and 29th.
I cannot do the 16th.
I can do the 23rd or the 25th.
Holy cow, what month are we in?
September.
Oh, man.
I can't do the 16th or the 18th, but you know what?
What were they again? Sorry.
It's okay. 16th,
Uh,
18th, 23rd, 25th,
How long?
Okay.
Is it
29th.
Tuesdays are.
2 hours?
Well, I gotta try to do the 16th or 23rd. If possible.
What time of day are we looking at for this? Cause my availability depends on the time of day.
It's gonna have to be,
Mhm.
typically it seemed like she would do 5:30 to 7:30, somewhere in there. If you get here by 5:30, otherwise like 6 to 8, I'm guessing.
I think
23rd.
I could do either the 16th or 23rd better than the 18th or 20th. I mean, the 18th or 25th I could probably do, but the
I can't do
29th is
the
a
29th.
Sunday, right?
Is a
Or no,
Monday.
it's a Monday, sorry. Oh. I'm like
I
zooming.
cannot do
I really should have went back and got my glasses, but I would have been late.
I got you.
Or am I tripping?
Oh,
Matter-
I don't know if it'll work, but it's
2.0.
okay. I'm working it out. I'm working it out.
16th, I have a conference in Eugene for work.
So, yeah, yeah, so 16th, 23rd. I mean, Thursdays are just horrible for me. I do know, or the 29th, I could do the Monday, but then we have well, the board meeting's 2 weeks. Oh, okay, so
23rd.
23rd.
I sent her an email tonight. Make sure that's still available.
If not, send us another
And
Google
then
form.
we'll do another, yeah, exactly.
If not, tell her, well, we'll do it without. No.
Are we gonna say 6 to 8? That
I think
I think
that's
that's
I
what
could
best
get here by
is, right?
5:45.
Figure out like dinner.
I would say, well, dinner.
All right, and then, I don't think do we need to do set
Yes.
board meeting?
I'll
after?
go
I
Tuesday.
think We did that in our organizational chart. Are we good to move forward without that one? Okay, so I'm gonna strike 5G from our new business.
Okay.
All right, 5H, superintendent evaluation schedule. That is also in front of you. And while you guys peek at that, because I failed to look at the contract. Sorry, okay, no, no, you're fine. So this is just structured the way we've normally done this, setting goals. Sorry, calendar evaluation date, so we'd be ahead of the game, look at us go. If we move forward with this, and then October we set goals. And we do a quick fall check-in, which are usually, we've done executive sessions, okay, for those. Then a winter check-in, and then a superintendent self-evaluation. I would want to talk to Kristen on what this looks like in the interim versus the regular superintendent, things like that, but, because we don't go out for ratings to the public, or sorry, to your staff, we don't do that like 360 evaluation in an interim space. I don't think this calendar. The only thing I would want to do is just look at your contract really quick and make sure the dates align. Look that up really quick.
So, I'm just, okay, so,
That's last year.
oh,
We have a blank one for this.
yeah, I was like, the 24 dates were throwing me off.
True.
I'm really off today. Sorry. No, it's totally fine. I was just looking at the wrong sheet of paper. I'm sorry. It's like, what? Okay.
So we did a work session prior to the board
I mean,
meeting
didn't we like have this like
in October.
first year was kind of more of a limited superintendent evaluation for 2 years ago?
Ish, kind of, it was like a little bit less,
Because goals were like optional and like
yeah, so
things
the
like that.
spreadsheet goals said that was not something that necessarily needed to be in a self-evaluation. And could also be like, don't know if you want to set goals yet in your first year.
I mean, I guess I'm asking
Right, she
like,
needs to get her feet
are
wet to know what
you-
her goal
I
is.
already have.
yeah, she's already got them. She's got 'em.
That, let it be up to the superintendent on
Yeah.
what they thought was.
Okay, so Stacy, you're good with
I'm
this?
good with it.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure because
But
I'm like, you know.
yeah.
I know you've been around before, so. Okay, sounds perfect. Are we doing these after board meetings or are we doing these on separate days?
Sorry, the October, December, and February, check-in self-evaluation, those are executive sessions before or after a board
Okay.
meeting. Let's see, the superintendent goals is usually a work session.
Right.
Individual member ratings is individual, done independently. And then the compilation of results, and presentation to the superintendent is done in an executive session outside of a board meeting. That's one that usually takes just a little bit.
Okay.
But we do need to look at your contract, because this actually says that we would evaluate and assess the writing and performance of the interim superintendent by March 1st. So. That's
So
the
basically-
presentation and protocol evaluation summary, so
This means that the evaluation has to happen.
evaluation. Performance, yeah.
So, yeah,
So-
whatever, the October 22nd to 29th, I'm out of town. My wife and I are going to Maui for our anniversary, so
We want to do this, do we want to?
if we're setting dates.
So that,
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
For like a couple of those work sessions, and
Yeah.
then we can, each of, like, we can. Do that, and then you can put in.
Yeah, because like the
if you
beginning
could
of the
put,
month
like,
is better.
Like a comment section of blackout dates, like.
Yeah.
Everything you gave me, I'm on vacation for essentially, and then I might have to
Right.
redo, does that work?
But from the contract, it sounds like all of these 3 March items need to
Yeah.
be done before March 1st.
So do we
It's
remove a
actually-
check-in?
So what we would do, well, there's a mutual, we come to a mutual agreement that we move the evaluation date to like. April 25th or whatever, that's like, to give kind of that space to do that, or we can push the calendar, we kind of squish things up, it's whatever the preference is. Of the board and superintendent.
I would say whatever your preference is.
Probably push this calendar back up.
Okay.
Cause the end of April's pretty late there. Decide to go a different direction.
Yeah, I get it.
Do all these.
We're already a month ahead with talking about the dates, so if we're just bumping everything up a month,
Yeah, we could do September and then November and then January and then February. And then that would be that board meeting that we present the conclusion in March.
And as far as the
You don't have-
superintendent goals, I mean, are you wanting to establish goals for me, or am I presenting my goals to you?
Historically, superintendent, we've had them present to us.
Okay, that's what I was thinking, cause that could be done in August at an executive session. She's an overachiever.
Yeah.
Okay,
So, but then if we do, if
Just
we need to
realistic.
discuss the results
I appreciate
after
it.
March 1st, that's after March 1st.
I guess like thinking about it, if you take a new job, who doesn't have their goals already figured
True
out?
statement.
And they're like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna take this position. I got my goals.
this will be February, right? So if we present, if we compile results in February. So if we compile our results and present them to the superintendent, and we need to discuss in that same executive session, then that's done in February, we can present the conclusion in March. But we've already
Well, we've
completed
done
the
that.
evaluation in February.
Sure.
We're meeting our executive session,
Yeah, as long as
that's the
we're,
summary of the
Right.
public statement to the public.
yeah, as long as we meet with the superintendent before March 1st.
do we,
February.
can we take one check-in out since we're having a condensed,
Let's do the October check for November.
maybe
do
put it
you-
in between the two?
Like November and January.
No, just do one check-in and
Oh,
do October, December
Oh,
through
yeah.
November.
And then just have one check-in.
Yeah. Yeah, if we're gonna move it up, because like, yeah, right. That's, I know, that's why,
Superintendent.
right.
But we did.
If she
bring that
wants
into your
one.
Contract also, and I think it's important, 'cause I think.
Yeah.
Continuity piece of it, and I do think that if you're comfortable with just one check-in, I think so.
Yeah.
Then we
I
can
think that's
scratch
adequate.
October, scratch
And make it
December out, make it
November.
November, and then move
Self-draw,
everything
every
up
1
below
month.
that of a month, right? So I get that.
That sounds.
I
good.
think that's,
I think you guys do whatever you wanna do on this. Just like,
Look at the
following?
spell sheet going in my head right now.
so the way I am reading this, because I jotted notes, so we have July for today, the calendar of events. August, approve evaluation standards and process and establish superintendent goals. November check-in. January superintendent self-evaluation. February individual board meeting rating submitted. February board compiles the results and presents to the superintendent. February board and superintendent meet to discuss results, and March presentation of final. Is that what we all agreed?
That will meet all the
Mm.
requirements that we have.
Will you compile this? So beautiful. They want them. All right, is there a motion to approve as amended?
I will make a motion to approve the superintendent evaluation calendar. Is that what we're calling it? So the planning, yeah, calendar. I just lost my train of thought. There was something else I was supposed to say. As amended. There you go. Thank you.
All right, there's.
I'll second.
Four.
Yes.
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 All right, we're into our first reading policy now. I don't know how you've usually done these. I think we're all open. If you want to strike through, make suggestions ahead of time, they go to the first reading. That's always, it's nice to read them ahead of time and go, oh, okay, I get what this means.
Going on, okay, yeah.
Okay, and so whatever is your, but any questions on the first reading or concerns on first readings for GBN, JPA?
So I have a question. Isn't this the one where we had discussed, I think, last year to have reporting go to a third party outside of our district? It's not the one where we discussed having the report, people would report to the ESD superintendent?
Is that where
was
if?
against-
I think it was
was
only if it
against
was
the
against the
superintendent.
superintendent.
You're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think my understanding is the only thing that was updated in this one was the point of contact changed to Joe Harris.
Yeah, and that's the thing I saw, and I was like, wait, isn't this the one? Oh, wait, okay, totally. Got it. That is clear to me now.
All right, anything on the I or I or their irresponsible use of technology?
This is
I
what
can-
we, Ethan and Chris and I kind of built, trying to make some guardrails around AI use, but without painting us into a corner. And the main thing that I got into there that I really wanted was a digital resource menu. So that we don't have to put into policy, like what people can do. We say there's this menu that the district maintains, and the superintendent and the technology supervisor maintain a list of what you can use and how you can use it. And you go to them, and if you got some great new idea, you go to them and say, I want to use this great new thing for something, and they can add it if it's appropriate, and then we don't have to micromanage all that stuff through policy.
My question was the very specific request to have at least one professional development day a year in regards to some sort of technology rated thing. Are you okay with that being that specific? Or, cause it is just a rapidly changing environment, but I also don't want to
Maybe once
overstep.
minimum once a year, then it's
Yeah.
not necessarily a full day, but maybe it's a component of a PD Friday.
I think,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's smart.
You're in the policy, correct?
Or the air.
you
Trying to
AR?
get,
Are
I'm
they-
trying to get back to the right spot. That's what I'm trying to do. I just made a mental note to ask that, cause I don't, again, want to overstep.
It's in the AR,
Yeah, it's
Policy's pretty short.
page 4. Right, at least one PD session per year.
Okay, that's perfect.
Okay.
One session.
Okay.
So these are first readings, additional questions, we'll come back next month for a final, but, additional questions. Out. All right, we have no second reading, all right, board comments. Got them.
well,
I
I
will
mean-
say,
you go.
Russ, I really appreciate your candidness today. I think that was very well said, and I appreciate that. And I have also enjoyed getting to know each and every one of you, and I am incredibly excited for the direction of our district. I will miss Krista. She did really good by us and really set the foundation of good things to come. But I'm very excited with the choice that we made and the board that we have. So I'm looking forward to this new year.
There you go. I will say that a couple months ago, we thought about finding an ideal candidate in the amount of time we had. I was really blown away at the quality of people out there, first of all, the few we came down with. And Stacy, I know the community's excited you're here. I'm excited you're here. Um, you know, the conversation we had the other day in my mind, your affect creates the environment that the kids live in, right? The happiness and the joy that you had in the interview process and in this meeting, is pervasive. And I just really hope that as this school year comes to fruition, that our kids feel that energy that you have seemingly all the time. And as a board member, it's been a learning couple years. And George, you're early on in it, and I can tell you, uh, I would take every opportunity to meet with the members of the board, and with Stacy. I didn't do that my first year. I had a lot going on, honestly. There's a lot to learn. And sitting in a seat on a board and not knowing things is it's very difficult, right? Because you're just listening, and hearing, but not really getting all of the details. So, I'm going to go to the meeting in August in Salem and take what I can, bring it back to the board for those that can't be there. I know you're going, right? Oh no, you're not either. But
Rest are older representative, right?
yeah, so eyes wide open, right? I worry about our children's future in the public school system, because it's not just our board or our superintendent making the decisions. But what I will say to the community publicly and to the board here is I have every bit of faith in this board and this administration that despite the challenges that we have to deal with, that we will focus on each and every student in this school and their opportunity to learn and grow intellectually, socially, developmentally. I just feel that. So I'm excited for the school year. I'm excited for our board. And I look forward to getting to know Stacy better and just working together. So.
Right. That's what you guys have already said, so I don't need to say it again, but thank you. Future agenda items from anybody? I think we set out quite a few in the meeting already, but any additional topics that we'd like to?
Not yet. I think I want to give Stacy a little reprieve from what I would like to future talk about, just because I know right now, like, we need to do the beginning of school's coming. It's nigh at hand. Thank goodness you got an extra week out of the deal, but no, it's nigh at hand.
Right.
But yeah, we got it.
Well, like I mentioned to you in personal conversation, if it comes down to the need of more manpower to help get things cleaned and moved in, I am happy to help. Just let me know.
All right.
To organize a community event.
Totally good.
Dates on here, but we had another board meeting in like 2 weeks, so.
Yeah.
But it'll be on a no, it'll be on a Monday.
Oh, we're gonna move it,
Yeah,
right?
11th.
Right, the 11th.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, thank you.
I need to know what agenda meeting.
We'll get the.
You guys can talk quietly amongst yourselves.
But with that, for the rest of the 2 weeks of summer, we are back soon, and we are adjourned at 7:39. Good evening.